Hey, I'm Rob from JestaThaRogue.com. I'm going to look at Divide and Conker, which is a game about playing conkers. If you don't know, in conkers you get a conker, you drill a hole through it, you put a string through it, and you take turns swinging your conker to hit your opponent's conker, and the goal is to break your opponent's conker, just in case nobody's played conkers and doesn't know what this game is about. So the quick rule summary of how this game plays: first of all, you do a draft phase where you have either a pyramid or a snake draft depending on the number of players you're playing with. I'm going to focus on the 2-player game in this overview because I didn't play multiplayer game at the demo. Oh, by the way, this game's coming to Kickstarter soon, so keep your eye out for that if it looks interesting. But yeah, I played a 2-player game, so the cards are laid out in this pyramid with some face up and face down. You take turn drafting a card. There are some conker cards that you put in front of you. There are hardener cards that will make those conkers more powerful during the battles. There are trick cards that you can use for tricks during the battle that you can play. And then there are strings that have different abilities that you can put on your different conkers. After all the cards and strings have been collected, you go to the prepare phase where you lay out your conkers in a row. You apply the hardeners to whichever conkers you want to, and you give them strings as well. Once everybody's done that, you move to the battle phase. What you do here is you choose one of your conkers. One player would choose, and then the other player would choose a conker, and you'll move them forward to show that they're the two conkers fighting. And you roll the number of dice shown in the colour of dice shown on the card to be able to deal damage to your opponent's conkers. And you go back and forth, just rolling the dice to deal damage. You've got a chance to play the trick cards, which will allow you to maybe upgrade some of the dice or re-roll some of the dice on your turn to try and deal more damage. And when one of the conkers breaks, the winner will take that card and the string as well, and we'll be able to use that string on the other conkers. After 2 battles, you then repeat all this again with a new set of cards, and then you have 5 battles. In this second phase, you look at the number of defeated conkers you've got, and you've got some of the hardeners are worth minus points because they're cheating. We'll get into that later. And the player with the most points wins. So the main mechanisms in this game are, first of course, you're drafting cards. You're drafting from face down and face up cards. And then the only other really main mechanism in this is just the dice rolling from dealing damage. I think it's very simple 2 mechanisms that work together to make this game what it is. I'm going to bundle these next 2 segments together. So the USP of the game is the theme, because it's conkers, and I have lots of memories come back from playing conkers as I was playing this game and as I was writing notes down for this video. Memories of painful fingers where somebody's missed the conker and hit your hand, sometimes on purpose, sometimes accidentally, mostly on purpose. I remember when we were kids that we were really into WWF at the time. We were really into wrestling, so we had a little belt made. It was the Intercontinental Championship, which was my idea, and I was very proud of it. There's other things you can do with cheating to make your conker more powerful. You can bake it, you can soak it in vinegar to make it softer, you can cover it in glue. These are things that people actually used to do. We never did. As far as I'm aware, none of my friends ever cheated. But all those cards are in the game, with the ones that are legal making your conker better, and the ones that are illegal making your conker really, really good, but giving you minus points at the end of the game for the privilege of being a super cheat. So yeah, the theme in this game is really strong. Lots of good memories. Well, some not so good, but lots of memories. Setup for this game is a tiny bit fiddly because it's very simple, but you have to sort of divide the cards into 2. So you have to have 2 piles of conkers, 2 piles of hardeners, 2 piles of trick cards, so that you've got the first round and the second round set up. You need to put them aside. By tricky, I don't mean it's going to be a chore to just to do that, just to play this game, but compared to a lot of lighter games like this, that is quite the effort. Now, normally here I'll look at the components and artwork, but this is still a prototype. Everything will change. We're talking about the dice and what they're thinking they could do with the dice in the future to make things clearer, to make them nicer, what they can do with the strings and all these other things. But I will say the art on the conker cards is fun. They're all sort of army themed, and it is a lot of fun there. And I look forward to seeing the final product. Ease of teaching, well, this is very, very simple, so they are all face up. All the cards that you draft will be face up at some point. Even those that are face down will be face up before somebody gets a chance to draft them, so they have a chance to ask questions about those cards before they take them. Then once the game starts, everything is face up, so you can just ask questions. The only thing that's going to be in hand and hidden are trick cards, but they will be face up when they're drafted, so they have a chance to ask questions then, and they should know then what those cards do while they're in their hand, and they should be able to play them and go through the game without any difficulty at all. So this should be very, very easy to teach. Similar games, I mean, Drafting in that triangle method, maybe think of Seven Wonders Duel, a game I don't like. That's it. And for dice rolling, I don't know. I couldn't think of a game where you're just dice rolling back and forth to deal damage. So I'm just not going to think of one. I'm just going to move on. Looking at the positives, I'm going to say the theme, as I mentioned earlier. Something I didn't mention before that I've got noted down here is the damage on the follow through. So if you're attacking a conker and that conker's only got 1 damage and you're rolling 5 dice, there's a possibility you could deal 5 damage to it. Let's just say you deal 4 damage. 1 damage goes on that conker, and then the other 3 damage goes back on your conker. And this I've seen happen in real life. Somebody, they hit the conker, they hit their opponent, it smashed their opponent's conker. The conker then ricocheted back towards the player who attacked. It hit his belt buckle. It was an 18 belt buckle. Yes, I am that old. And it smashed. So he destroyed his opponent and his own conker in 1 hit, and it was very funny. But yeah, so that's again part of how the theme works and how there's been a lot of thought put into how an actual game of conkers works and put it into a board game. I'm just going to add nostalgia in there as a positive as well, because it's given me a lot of happy memories playing with my childhood friends back in the day. And another positive is for the art, because I think the way they've done the art and made the soldiers conkers but fun is very nice. I really like that. Well, the negatives, I mean, you're rolling dice back and forth. That is the main part of the game. There are trick cards you can use to mitigate some of the luck you get there, but you can't always draft enough to do everything, and you're going to use a lot of rounds of dice rolling compared to very few trick cards. And even though that is how the game works, you attack, I attack, you attack, that is just how conkers is until somebody dies. Or a conker dies anyway, not a human, obviously. I can see some people being put off by that as sort of a main gameplay focus. Overall, I thought this was a good, fun game and good, nice nostalgia hit. Nice bit of dopamine off of the memories from playing conkers. And yeah, it's a decent thematic game and a unique theme. And we need to support games that have unique themes, because you can't complain about zombie games. You can't complain about train games. You can't complain about generic fantasy games if you're not going out and supporting creators that are going to create games around these excellent, underutilized, barely existent themes. So go out there and do it. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of this game in the comments below. Remember to like, share and subscribe and all that good stuff, and I'll see you next week and every week for a new board game related video. I've been Rob, aka JestaThaRogue, and I'll see you soon.